Dating someone new can be exciting, filled with hope and full of possibilities. But sometimes that excitement can blind us to subtle warning signs, especially when it comes to narcissism. Narcissists can be charming, magnetic, and seemingly perfect at first glance. They know exactly how to make you feel special, important, and even irreplaceable in the early stages. But over time, the cracks start to show. Beneath the surface, narcissists have a deep need for control, admiration, and validation, often at the expense of their partner's emotional well-being. Recognizing the signs early can save you from years of emotional strain and confusion. It's not always about someone being arrogant or self-absorbed. Narcissism runs deeper, affecting how they love, communicate, and value you in the relationship. One of the first signs you might be dating a narcissist is their constant need for admiration. At the start, it may come across as confidence. They talk about their achievements, talents, or experiences in ways that seem impressive. But over time, you notice that it's not just about sharing, it's about being praised. They expect you to validate their every action, compliment them frequently, and put their needs for attention ahead of your own. If you don't, they might sulk, act irritated, or even punish you emotionally. In a healthy relationship, admiration flows both ways. With a narcissist, the attention only flows toward them, and they rarely acknowledge your own accomplishments with the same enthusiasm. Another telling sign is their lack of empathy. They might be attentive to your feelings in the very beginning, but eventually it becomes clear that they struggle or refuse to truly understand or care about your emotions. If you're upset, they may dismiss your feelings, tell you you're overreacting, or shift the conversation back to themselves. When you share your struggles, instead of comfort or support, you might get judgment or impatience. Narcissists often see the world only from their perspective, so they struggle to connect emotionally unless it benefits them. This emotional gap can leave you feeling lonely and unsupported, even when you're in a relationship. A third red flag is how they handle control and power. Narcissists often want to dominate the relationship, making the decisions about where you go, who you see, and how you spend your time. They may disguise it as being protective or knowing what's best for you, but it's really about ensuring they hold the upper hand. This can start subtly, questioning your choices, giving unsolicited advice, or pressuring you to agree with them. Over time, the control can escalate, and you may find yourself feeling trapped, as if you have to ask permission for things you once did freely. Gaslighting is another common tactic narcissists use, and it's one of the most damaging. This is when they twist facts, deny things they've said or done, or make you doubt your own memory and judgment. You might begin to question your sanity because they're so convincing in their denials. Gaslighting is a way to maintain control by making you feel unstable, so you rely on them as your source of truth. If you find yourself constantly second-guessing your own reality after conversations with your partner, this is a major warning sign. A fifth indicator is that the relationship feels one-sided. In the beginning, a narcissist might shower you with attention, gifts, and affection, a phase often called love bombing. But as time goes on, the focus shifts almost entirely to them. Your needs, dreams, and goals take a back seat to their desires. You might notice that you're always the one compromising, adjusting your schedule, or making sacrifices to keep the peace. In a healthy partnership, both people give and take. With a narcissist, you do most of the giving and they do most of the taking. Another sign is their inability to handle criticism, no matter how gentle or constructive it is. Narcissists often have fragile egos beneath their confident exterior, and any perceived criticism feels like an attack. Instead of listening or reflecting, they may lash out, become defensive, or turn the blame on you. They might even bring up past mistakes you've made to deflect attention from their own behavior. This inability to take responsibility makes it nearly impossible to resolve conflicts in a healthy way. Seventh, notice how they react when they're not the center of attention. Narcissists crave being in the spotlight, and when the focus shifts away from them, they may become irritable, withdraw affection, or find ways to bring the attention back to themselves. You might see this at social gatherings where they interrupt conversations, make grand statements, or try to outshine others. If you're celebrating a personal achievement, they might find a way to make it about them instead of genuinely celebrating you. Eighth, pay attention to their tendency to manipulate situations to their advantage. Narcissists are skilled at playing emotional games, using guilt, fear, or charm to get what they want. They may exaggerate their struggles to gain sympathy, twist your words to make you feel guilty, or promise change they have no intention of making. Over time, you might start making decisions not because you want to, but because you fear their reaction if you don't. Another warning sign is how they treat boundaries. Narcissists often push or ignore the limits you set, whether it's about personal space, communication, or values. If you express discomfort about something, they might brush it off, make a joke at your expense, or accuse you of being too sensitive. In a healthy relationship, boundaries are respected and honored. With a narcissist, boundaries are seen as challenges to be broken down, not agreements to be upheld. Finally, a major sign is the emotional roller coaster the relationship puts you on. One moment they can be incredibly loving, making you feel like you're the most important person in the world. The next, they might be cold, distant, or even cruel. This push and pull dynamic can be addictive, keeping you hooked as you chase the good times and try to avoid the bad. It creates a cycle of hope and disappointment that wears you down emotionally and mentally over time. Dating a narcissist can leave you feeling drained, confused, and doubting yourself. The charm and intensity they bring in the beginning often mask deep-rooted patterns that harm relationships. By learning to recognize these signs, constant need for admiration, lack of empathy, controlling behavior, gaslighting, one-sided effort, inability to handle criticism, attention-seeking, manipulation, disregard for boundaries, and emotional unpredictability, you give yourself the power to step back and protect your well-being. No one deserves to be in a relationship where love is conditional, support is absent, and your sense of self is slowly eroded. Awareness is the first step toward breaking free and finding the healthy, mutual, and respectful love you deserve.